A brave, ambitious, and charismatic man, he was also hounded by crisis and controversies. Today, we will explore the early life of the first president of the Philippines, Emilio Aguinaldo. March 22, 1869, in Kawit, Cavite. When the Philippines was still under Spanish rule, Emilio Aguinaldo, known as Miong, was born. His birth has a very interesting story. His mother had been suffering 3 days of unbearable labor pains. To speed up his arrival in the world, his father lit a giant firecracker. The explosion startled his mother, and without much ado, Miong saw the light of day. So, needless to say, Miong literally went into this world with a bang. And it pretty made sure that it prepped him up with the smell of gunpowder for his life in the revolution. As a child, Miong had his fair share of near-death experiences. When he was 2, he almost died of smallpox. At 3, a revolt was caused by the death of 3 Filipino priests via garrote execution. In the panic that followed the arrests, Miong was left alone in the bamboo clump by his uncle. Miong was found later, hoarse from crying, having been bitten by ants. When Miong was old enough, his mother sent him to Manila to study. But he was the kind of person who is not into studying. Being away from home made him lonely, and he would rather watch ships pass by from a nearby river. He is also discouraged to study, as he is reminded of the death of the 3 priests, Gomborza. He surmised that being highly educated or knowing too much, knowing the truth, could send you to peril. Homesickness, lack of motivation, and a cholera outbreak in Manila forced him to drop school and return to Cavite. Upon his return, he started his political career holding leadership positions as Cabeza de Barangay at the age of 17 and Gobernadorcillo Capitan Municipal at the age of 25. These are outstanding achievements at a young age. But this opened his eyes further to the abuse of the Spaniards. Furthermore, his fate has another purpose for him: a life in the Revolution. In 1895, he became a Freemason and later on encouraged to join a secret organization known as KKK or Katipunan, an underground organization led by Andres Bonifacio. This organization's main purpose was to revolt against Spaniards and gain independence for the Philippines. Miong enlisted as a member of the Katipunan and used the alias Magdalo to honor Mary Magdalene, the patron saint of his hometown Cavite. Side note, Magdalo also means to gather in celebration. The local chapter of the Katipunan in Cavite, where he is a member and led by his cousin Baldomero Aguinaldo, was also named Magdalo. August 1896. The revolution has begun in Manila. Cavite soon followed. There's no time to spare. Emilio Aguinaldo would now begin his journey as a lieutenant of Magdalo. On September 1st, 1896, Capitan Municipal of Umus, Jose Tagle, together with 100 men, went to Emilio Aguinaldo for help in defeating the Spaniards in his town. But Miong, while having 600 men of his own, doesn't have enough weapons. Armed with the few 9 guns, rifles, handful of Remingtons, and a gun for bird shooting, most of their weapons are just bolos. Most of all, he knew his men are not prepared for battle. Then it dawned upon Emilio Aguinaldo he needed to fire up his men, muster their courage, and recruit more soldiers. So he went around Kawit with a marching band, playing the tune of Batalla de Holo to encourage other men to join. And it worked. Soon he had 2,000 men ready to charge with him. Aguinaldo marched from Kawit with his men, and the Battle of Umus started. He launched a series of skirmishes that eventually ended up in open hostilities against the Spanish troops led stationed there. The fighting was intense and back and forth, and many men died from both sides. Eventually, Emilio Aguinaldo and the Katipuneros would gain the upper hand and win at Imus. It made Aguinaldo the rising star leader of the revolution. He entered the town of Imus as a lieutenant, to be later on recognized by his men as General Miong, the hero of the revolution in the province. Over time, he won the major battles in Cavite, making him the undisputed leader of the revolution. All seemed good and well for the young leader, but soon he will set the country's history. From his decision on how to handle threats on his leadership and the impending attack of a strong empire on the other side of the Pacific. On the next episode, we will explore the struggles of Miong in his last battles against the Spaniards in Cavite and the birth of the First Republic of the Philippines. Thank you for watching, and please support our channel by clicking the subscribe button and liking our Facebook page. You can also send us your support by funding our videos through Patreon.